Okay. Let's see. I got the lava lamp here. Try to move it to the floor. See, I wish I could take this further out toward the back of the screen room, but it needs to be plugged in for it to work. It's not battery operated or anything, so gotta keep it by the outlet. There's only one out here, and it's this one. So. Okay, how bright is it without this? Interesting. But it is Lavalamp Chats, not dark chats. It can get dark sometimes, but you know what I mean. Anyway, I'm your host, Joshua. Welcome to Lavalamp Chats. Well, it should be the other way around. Welcome to Lavalamp Chats. I'm your host, Joshua, Mr. Everything Man. The content's always 100% original, unedited, unscripted, unrehearsed, and improvised. Always. I don't give these episode numbers, just dates, because I end up making a lot of things similar to them, or under the name, and they're vice versa or whatever. It just gets confusing. But I use the dates because it's significant, It's like a time capsule of like the kind of topics that I would talk about, what's going on in my life at that point, and things that are relevant, and just the way that I am, the way I look, the way I sound, the way I feel, the way I talk, just, my personality and stuff like that. About, what specific date that's from. So in this case, it's the night of April 21st, technically the morning of April 22nd at 2:19 a.m. local time. So yeah, again, I would, if it was up to me, I'd be on just a towel in the grass in the yard. But again, this lava lamp needs to be plugged in to be working. So. It is, I believe, a full moon though, so that's really awesome, and it's a clear sky. Mostly clear. I mean, I don't mind a few clouds, but I tend to like it cloudier during the day and clearer at night. I like myself a good starry night and a nice full moon too, so that it just it's so good. The temperature right now is about, I have no idea. It feels like around 60 degrees maybe. Pretty cool for this time of year. It's probably going to be my last one of the season because, as we get into May, there's not really many cool fronts. So, I mean, hopefully there will be. I'm just saying. It's got to be, like below 65 degrees to be worth it. So, I would be in my room, but it's cooler out here. And I'm just really soaking in every minute of it. So, I wanted to do one of these while walking and just use the lava lamp as like a lantern. But again, it's got to be plugged in, so blast it. It's not portable. I'd really love if this was a live stream, or just if I could live stream. Two things I want to say on that note. First of all, I'll start with the oldest one. First of all, YouTube decided to pull the plug around April 6th or 7th or something like that while I was gone away. For the weekend, they decided to pull the plug on mobile live streaming for channels with under 1,000 subscribers. So yeah, I used my phone to record everything. That's what I record on. So it's a real bummer. I have since tried to live stream with my laptop multiple times, and it never worked. So I guess it's just too old technology or whatever. But if you haven't guessed it, if you haven't picked up on it already, I'm recording this on my laptop, which is why it's not being live streamed, despite much to my chagrin. But also because my phone it has been lost. Hopefully not stolen. I don't think it's been stolen. Yeah, I think, we called like we were able to tap in, we were able to find out if it's been used since the data was lost, and it hasn't been. So, oh cool, I can see my bread. Well, must be in the 50s then. I don't know. It's not quite jacket weather to me. To me, jacket weather is like 49 and under. 50 and above is just kind of, yeah, whatever. But and there's no wind either. It's just stagnant, and there's crickets and everything. It's very peaceful. And then I'm the only one out here making noise. So, but, hopefully I'm quiet enough to. That's the thing, with the suburbs is like the houses are close together, but not, too close. Oh, let me finish my thing about my phone first. So yeah, I haven't had that since I think April 14th, so a week now, or April 13th actually, so over a week, and so I haven't been able to record anything, upload anything. I mean, the whole channel's tied to my phone, really. Everything's on my phone, so this video probably won't be uploaded for a while, or anything I've recorded on my laptop, because I don't know how to upload videos from here to YouTube, so I'm gonna need to get help with that. But and also I've recorded one, maybe two episodes of Vicinity of Infinity podcast, and then this, and that's all I've recorded on this laptop since I lost my phone, because first of all, it's not portable. I can't really. I mean, it would have to be something with a front-facing camera, as opposed to something like Tales from the Fifth Dimension or something. That's like easy, because this only has a front face, so it's just a webcam. And also, it's not really very portable, so I can't like run around with it or anything. First of all, it'd only be the front-facing camera, so it'd be awkward anyway. But and third of all, it's not very good quality, as you can probably see. It's not as good quality as my phone. Fourth of all, it's very fragile too. This thing it's really on its last leg, so I'm trying to use it as little as possible, but I've kind of been dependent on it recently. It's been experiencing heavy use from me the past week or so. But the good news though is that we just ordered a new phone for me, so it should be getting here in a few days. I should be able to have it then, and then we can go back to normal with the uploads and stuff like that. It just sucks that, I mean, I had a whole 128 gigabyte SD card in my phone, and it was almost full. It was like 112 gigabytes or something like that, and all that's just gone now. And my brother told me that a Google Drive might have some of it backed up. And I checked, and they only have 1.5 gigabytes out of the 112. So, yeah, it's unfortunate. But tying it back into YouTube, that also, there were so many videos on there that I recorded and never got around to uploading to YouTube. I used to just upload everything I recorded onto YouTube privately, and then just sometimes I'd upload something publicly, but ever since I've got the SD card, I haven't really needed to do that, because the whole reason I used to do that was, like I said, to delete them from my camera roll then afterwards, so that they wouldn't take up space, because my phone only had like 2 gigabytes of internal storage, so it was very precious, because I had that much worth of apps pretty much, so anything I did, I would need to just delete something to break even. And that, like I said, that's actually kind of the reason why I even have a YouTube channel in the first place, is because I just discovered that I can just use YouTube as a platform to store stuff I record in my videos and then delete them from the camera roll, and then I'd still be able to watch them off YouTube, privately. And then, around May 2018, I got a notice from YouTube saying like, hey, you don't have any public uploads, you're misusing our service, we're gonna have to delete your account unless you like actually either stop uploading videos privately or start uploading videos publicly. So I chose the latter. Like, well, so I kind of got like kind of pressured into making a channel, which is kind of weird. But I've since embraced it. But anyway, so yeah, I should have a phone in a few days. So it'll transfer my phone number, but now my contacts, unfortunately, that's another thing too. Just all my contacts, my text history and email history and just everything like that, and my call logs and voicemails and and all my apps and data and friends and everything, and you know um, audio recordings. I have over 600 hours of audio recordings and over 130 hours of video recordings, and then all pictures and everything, and it's just very unfortunate. I hope I get it back. The place I lost it at, they said typically it shows up within a week. It's been 8 days now, so there's still a possibility. They said, well, sometimes 2 weeks maybe, so I just can't be without a phone indefinitely, because, us millennials, us Generation Z, we need our smartphones, so, I'm not, addicted to my cell phone or anything. In fact, I have rules. I will only use my cell phone if I'm alone or if it's an emergency. Because if I'm with someone else, I'll just talk to them. And when I'm alone means like when I'm like in my room or just waiting for something. I'm not going to use it when there's something to do. Like if I'm on a walk, I want to take in the scenery and do that, or if I'm in class, obviously, I guess not obvious because half of my class is using their phone while I'm whatever, just stuff like that. But yeah, so yeah, that kind of put a damper on things because I was actually doing really good, right before I lost it. Because I remember telling you, back in March maybe I was at kind of a creative low tide, it was kind of just a patch of like not really inspiration, and I just kind of depended on live streams, and then they took the live streams away, so there's a little bit of slowness, but then I kind of stepped up my game a little bit. I started uploading kind of daily, really, almost back in. I got the podcast episodes, the Tales from the Fifth Dimension, the other thing I forget, and then the PowerPoint presentation, and then I was preparing my next upload. It required some work. I was doing the next one, and then and I lost my phone, but it's really unfortunate. That was like I was on my way up. I was really feeling creative, inspired. I was really happy with my life and just everything. Just real happy-go-lucky guy. And, now just like last year of my life, the storage and everything. It's not even so much not having a phone. I mean, yeah, not having a phone sucks, not having communication or mobile, being dependent on Wi-Fi instead of 4G because the Wi-Fi at my house is infamously terrible, and just stuff like that. That's bad, but the worst thing to me is the data on it, all the stuff on it, because I'm a sentimental person. Hoarding runs in my family. So sorry, I don't mean to offend anyone who might be related to me watching this, but yeah, it's kind of true. I come from a somewhat sentimental family, and I feel like I'm the most of that, really. I mean, I don't really hoard stuff in general. I mean, I guess I do have some trouble getting rid of things. I just don't like the concept of throwing things away. It seems kind of wasteful to me. Like, for example, if we go to a restaurant, if I'm not finished with my food, which I usually am because I don't usually order more than I want to eat because I view it as greedy. But if for whatever reason, if there's like a special of like buy one get one free and you take the free one home, or something like that, um, I'll always get a to-go box. I'm not just gonna take a few bites of it and then just leave and throw it away. I'm just that kind of person. I don't mind eating cold food, refrigerated, microwave, whatever, the next day. I don't mind. I don't, some people say it makes them feel poor. Like, hey man, I've eaten stuff out of garbage cans. I've eaten stuff with mold on it. I don't feel poor doing any of that. I mean, the only time it's in my opinion, that kind of stuff is just pure pressure. Basically, it's just if you're in like middle school or high school or something, and you have like all the status, things that you compete with, like, oh, you have the latest game console, or you have the latest cell phone, or you have a better car than me, or all that crap is just completely completely worthless to me. I'm not out to impress anybody. I have no desire to have a fancy house or a fancy car or fancy clothes or jewelry or anything like that, because it's all superficial, really. And, I don't want to come across as one of these, like, yeah, hipster, whatever, like, oh, you get the, whatever, the evil, materialistic, worldly, whatever, like, trust me. Um, my, well, I shouldn't say specifically, but people who have been very close to me in the past um, have been Jehovah's Witnesses, which, if you know anything about them, it's them versus the world, versus everybody else. It's them versus the government, versus the system, the evil ways of the world. So, trust me, I'm not like that or anything. I'm just saying, you know. And that, also tying in with that too, while we're on the topic, I personally, I don't give a crap about you. You do whatever. Well, oh, sorry, I didn't. Terrible phrasing on my part. I do care about you, but I just, if you're a subscriber, if not, go subscribe real quick. Pause this video and subscribe, go back, and then you can apply to YouTube. But no, I do care about you. I don't know you probably, but hey, this is becoming very awkward. The point is, yeah. So me personally, I would, I have no interest as it stands in getting like a tattoo or a piercing, or like anything like that. Just because, in my opinion, it's like, why? I mean, I get it. It's supposed to be. I mean, someone like me who's sentimental, we'd probably be imagined to be the type of person to get like a tattoo or something, very meaningful to me or whatever. Like, oh, I want to have it on my body at all times. It's like a commitment, So I understand that mentality, and I respect it. That's fine. I'm not saying anyone who gets a tattoo is stupid, or anyone who has a piercing or whatever. But it's just not for me. I think you shouldn't really alter your body from its original form, too much. And, I'm kind of, even a little iffy about, like, makeup and stuff like that. It's like, yeah, if it's, like, for theater or role play or, something like that, like, hey, whatever, knock yourself out, a costume or stuff like that. But just, like, in daily life, whoa, what is this? Is this smoke? No, it's just a hair. Okay. But like in daily life, I know people, of multiple genders too. This isn't I'm not, attacking any particular gender here. I'm just saying, I know people who, like, they'd spend like 2-3 hours a day, every single day, just putting on, taking off, adjusting makeup and stuff like that. And it's like, just the way I see it is like, why is it worth it? I mean, what do you get out of that? In my opinion, it's kind kind of a form of deception in a way. If we're talking about, I mean, now if we want to talk about like dating and stuff like that, it's like I would be kind of aggravated. It's like I'm the kind of person where like what you see is what you get. Basically, I'm not gonna try to deceive anybody. I'm not gonna pretend to be more popular than I am, or cooler, or richer than I am, or healthier than I am, or smarter than I am, or whatever. I don't care. I'm not that desperate in looking for attention or looking for approval or anything like that. I'm not that. I don't have that low self-esteem. That I need that. Um, there are people that do though, and I I don't disrespect them. I just kind of feel sorry for them. It's like that must suck. To have to need that. But again, I don't want to make generalizations here. I'm certainly not saying like, oh, everyone who wears makeup is insecure or something like that. No, that's not what I'm saying at all. And I'm not even saying there's a correlation. I just mean it's kind of it's kind of it's kind of false advertising in a way, 'cause it's like you should look the same way when you wake up and when you go to bed. It's just my opinion. Whatever. Let's talk about something else now. So yeah, with my phone, I think we pretty much exhausted that. Should be getting a new one in a few days, and I should be able to resume motion momentarily. Well, you know what I mean. Resume motions shortly. But yeah, so I'm recording this on my laptop. It's just pretty weird, but yeah. Anyway, so Lavalamp Chats. Let's talk about something. I think I could really probably just talk about anything and get away with it, especially since we're past the 20-minute mark. A lot of you are probably either asleep or really tired by now. So, assuming of course you listen to this to go to sleep or unwind or just relax. I mean, I personally just kind of view this series as a downer in general, so I would imagine that would be its primary use. But hey, you could listen to this to get psyched in the morning, to get pumped up and everything. And who am I to say? But I mean, there's other big videos. Let me think. What are the most upper videos on my channel? Well, I don't want to date myself here, but well, I already literally did. I don't know. The acoustic originals, maybe those can get the mind going. The PowerPoint presentation, maybe. Everybody's headphones came out in class for that one. Everybody looked up from under their desks there. And, half my class is just contemplating life through the point of view of a French fry or something. Sorry, I'm staring at a spider over here. Such fascinating creatures. Anyway, so you may notice each episode of Lavalamp Chats, I'm kind of similar yet different. Oh, crap. That was a straight up hallucination. Jeez. Anyway, you may notice each episode of Lavalamp Chats, I'm similar but different. Like it's always a slightly different way that I'm feeling, different attitudes I have, which is why, don't quote me, don't hold me to anything I say, because my opinions are constantly evolving, stuff like that. So, and that's the point of having a series like this, of having a channel like this, of just like, it's a time capsule. It's like, oh, remember when I thought whatever, or, like, this is to look back on and laugh. I'm not trying to be all serious and preachy or whatever. Certainly don't. I'm not really the ideal person to take advice from right now. I'm not a wisdom dispenser. So. But yeah, so I mean, it was rough for me the first few days after losing my phone. It was kind of withdrawal, you know, because I spent so many hours a day with it. So it was kind of, I felt like naked without it, being in public and stuff, and just not having a way to communicate with anyone back home or anything. So, and of course, all my contacts are gone, and you know, I haven't memorized their phone numbers. That I can count on one hand how many people's phone numbers I've memorized. And beyond that, well, maybe both my hands, but you know, beyond that, everybody else in my contacts was sorry. I did manage to get 2 back because I have seen them in person since, but that's it. So the rest are whatever. But maybe if they reach out to me, as long as I keep the same phone number on my new phone, if they just text me out of the blue or something, then I might have their number back. I hope. But anyway, so this is really like day 3, I guess, of feeling okay. You know, kind of just making peace with it. I've gone through the 5 stages of grieving, you know, and all that. And I'm up to acceptance now, you know. Because what are you gonna do? You know, being unhappy isn't gonna make it better, and being happy isn't gonna make it worse. So why not be happy? That's just the way I see it. And like, if somebody, I don't mean to be insensitive or anything, but like, if somebody dies, something like, oh, well, that sucks, man. You know, that's really unfortunate. But you being down in the dumps now for a while, you know, being as good as dead, pretty much is like, it's not doing much for anybody, you know. I mean, you know, you gotta carry on your own life, you know. You gotta focus on the land of the living, because the person who died, they're gone. They're off somewhere else doing something. I don't. It's not my place to say what, but they're somewhere else, and you know, I'm not even sure they remember Earth or being a human or anything like that. You know, I'm not even sure they know who you are anymore. So, you know, but you know, you if you're if you're like depressed or feeling some sort of negative emotion, it's usually depression, but you know, it could be anxiety or anger or you know, just anything negative really. I've it's been only in recent weeks I've really kind of been slapped in the face with the lesson, and I've learned a lot of hard lessons this year, 2019, so far, and I'm grateful for every one of them. They haven't been subtle or graceful at all. Well, some of them may be a little subtle, but you know, the point is, it's been very abrupt. You know, some jarring motions in my life, which is, you know, I mean, nothing significantly derailed. If anything, I think they improved myself. But every single time, the moral of the story is be positive, be happy. You know, and the different trips and experiences and like just everything, that the overwhelming message I get is you gotta pick yourself up, you gotta get yourself together, because if you're experiencing a negative emotion like depression or anxiety or anger or you know, anything like that, you're harming the people around you, you're spreading negativity, because whether you realize it or not, and I'm not saying any of this as 100% facts. I personally believe it because I've seen very strong evidence of it in my life, but everybody's life could be different. I mean, I guess perception is most of reality, right? So, you know, it could be different for you, but at least for me, like, however you're feeling basically is how you make the people around you feel, you know? So it's kind of disrespectful to everyone else if you're Oh, crap, I'm hearing stuff too? Oh, jeez, that is really scary. Anyway, but, you know, so it's like if you're depressed or, you know, anxious or, you know, what if you're stressing somebody else out or bringing somebody else down, like imagine the scenario. You know, you're having a pretty good day. Something good just happened. Something made you smile. You know, and you're doing just fine. You're on your merry way, having a jolly old time. And I don't know, you show up at work or something, and one of your coworkers is just very clearly not having a good day, you know, and just the first thing, oh, you won't believe what just happened, you know, I just, you know, and whatever, and they're just telling you all this stuff, and it kind of weighs you down, you know, because I've been in that position too, you know, and it's terrible. You know, it's it's not good, and so I don't want to ever do that to other people. Are we good? Is there a fire or something? Is everything right? I think so. I mean, the pool's right here if we need it. But anyway, so yeah, you know, all I'm trying to say is I have been trying to significantly make my life more positive, and so I was doing that, and then I lost my phone. I'm trying to figure out what the cosmic significance of that was. Yeah, I go back and forth on that, you know, whether everything really does have cosmic significance, or, you know, if we make our own destiny, you know, and whatever, you know, like how much freedom do we have, and, you know, in our choices and everything, is it all pre-programmed, or, you know, do we control some of it but not all of it, or, you know, are we the dreamers and the dream, or just one or the other, you know, all that stuff. I don't know. Honestly, I don't know. I'm just living life, you know, just gone wherever I feel drawn to, just doing what comes naturally, you know. If I feel like talking about vinegar eels, then blast it, I'm gonna talk about vinegar eels. You know, so yeah. But so I mean, uh what more can I say? I'm just trying to just be a more positive person. Oh, very important. I'm not telling any of you who do suffer from a chronic mental illness, you know, like depression or anxiety or anger issues or whatever, any kind of negative emotion that's harder for you in particular to control than the average person. Um, you know, I'm not trying to say like, yeah, well, just turn it off. Just don't be like that around other people. Like, it doesn't work that way. I know. Trust me. I'm not trying to come across as insensitive or anything like that. Like, yeah, well, for the sake of everybody else, you gotta fake it. You gotta, because, and that goes back to what I was saying about what you see is what you get, and I don't, you know, pretend to be something I'm not. I don't, just like I don't pretend to be physically healthier than I am, I don't pretend to be mentally healthier than I am either. You know, I'm not gonna say I have everything together when I don't, because honestly, man, I don't know. I don't know, dude. I mean, I'm just trying, you know. I I want to play music. I enjoy doing that. But yeah, if I'm going to be honest with you, I haven't had any gigs outside of my house yet. So, yeah, I haven't made a penny from YouTube or Patreon or anything. So, hopefully that'll change soon. But, you know. Uh, yeah. But, I'm sorry. I keep getting caught on my own words here. You know, keep going off on side tangents and stuff like that. But anyway, what was I just saying before that? Oh yeah, so just like I'm saying, you know, not to fake anything. Like, don't pretend to be happy if you're not. You know, it's about finding that balance, and it's different for everybody, because faking something is a form of lying, pretty much, you know. And when if you lie, all you do is, I used to be the kind of person that thought that just like, innocent little white lies or whatever, it's fine, if it's not gonna, as long as you're not hurting anyone else, and as long as you're not being stupid or you're not being malicious or anything, then whatever. If you like not hurt someone's feelings or something like that, or just little things like that. But I just more and more recently, I've just kind of shifted on that of like, you know what? It's more effort than it's worth it to lie. Like, you should just tell the truth. You should just be honest, because it'll set you free pretty much. I mean, like, you're not you're much more likely to get in trouble for lying than you are to get in trouble for telling the truth. There might be short-term consequences, and that's the thing too, is like, people would rather suffer long-term just to be happy short-term than suffer short-term but be happy long-term. I would rather be happy long-term. And I think truthfulness is that. It's like, in the long run, it's gonna help you out, being an honest person. Lying might get you something for a few minutes or for a day or something, but then it wears off. It's like eating candy. Because here's another thing too. As a kid, I ate candy every single day, and now I don't even remember the last time I ate candy. I eat candy maybe one day per month, or something like that. Um, and it's like that. It's it feels good for like 10 seconds, while you're eating it, and then you never get to enjoy it ever again, and it kind of hurts you too. So that's the thing with lying, is like, whatever the reason for it is at the time, like if you're trying to, get a discount for something, if you're trying to save money or save time, or try to get something from someone, or whatever your intention is, it's probably short term, and if it's long term, it's not going to last. It's going to be taken away from you at some point. Someone's going to realize that things you said didn't add up or something like that. So trust me, lying is not going to get you anything in the long term. Telling the truth, I mean, people will respect your honesty. I think, honesty is bravery, really. If you just, But anyway, I don't mean to come across as Mr. Morals here, because, I mean, trust me, I've angered and offended many a person with my immorality. So I'm certainly one to talk about all that. But that's also, in my opinion, it's quite ironic, really, that, like, me, someone who has offended so many people over my lifetime. That's another thing, too, that I want to come back to, that about offending people, because I try not to do that now, because I realize if you hurt someone else, you're just hurting yourself, really. We're all, in theory, in my theory, all living creatures are one collective entity, really, one collective consciousness, so it's useless to to try to cut in front of yourself, basically, in the great circle, to cut across to the other side because you don't feel like going around, like, you just relax, honestly. Just take a deep breath, close your eyes, and look at where you are. That's right, close your eyes and look where you are. But yeah, I find it kind of ironic how someone like me, who in the past has, been called, immoral and all this stuff, and I mean, I've really ticked some people off. People have, made complaints about me. I've gotten kicked out of programs and things and, places and stuff for, you know, like I was never a troublemaker or a rabble rouser or anything like that. I I was just a weird kid, and I had a lot of energy. I would say some really, you know, off the cuff things. I had some real controversial hot takes. As I got older, my filters developed more, but in early adolescence and stuff like that, there was no filters. I just kind of said whatever came to my mind. Um, and Yeah, people didn't like it. And I know as a kid, one of the reasons why I didn't have, not the main reason, but one of the reasons, the supporting reasons I didn't have any friends was because none of the parents really wanted their kids around me. I was considered a bad influence. Because I was not like the others. Um, and I knew I wasn't like the others, and I didn't want to be like the others, but not in the same way of like being rebellious, or something like that. Like I was never a rebellious kid or a teenager or anything like that. I was just different. That's all. Yeah, I didn't I didn't really fit in with anything. Even I didn't fit in with the outcasts. See, I was rejected from the rejects. That's the point I'm trying to make. Um, so I just find it kind of funny how, like, someone who has basically, been treated as inferior to, you know, the average family, the average kids and all that, like, oh, you're a bad influence, you're gonna, whatever, and so, like, and now, all these years later, it's like, here I am, talking about morality and everything like that, and I get told it's pretty much the opposite now. I went from being at the bottom of the social scale to now every time I go on a rant about something to someone, they'll have their jaw dropped and just be like, you know, dude, what, like, what did you just say? That was baffling. And maybe it's just because of the environment, like in K through 12 schooling and in, just things related to that. It's just, I, ah, I'm not going to say I don't like kids because I actually find them quite fascinating, and I'm probably the most fond of children of anyone in my household. I'd love to have kids someday because the best kind of kids are my kids. Um, but I think I'd make a very interesting parent, and I think that's something I was kind of meant to do. I mean, I just feel that instinct. Um, but I think they're quite interesting, and I'm fascinated with infants too. With babies, I think it's quite interesting. It's a science experiment. Really, it's like having a pet. I mean, not literally, but you know what I mean. It's you know, it's always yeah. But just obviously, the kids in the K through 12 system are not, I have no respect or sympathy for them. I don't really care. I've nothing to prove to any of them, and I never really did either. And that's kind of, I don't know, but if everybody's going in a straight line to get ahead, and everybody's fighting, trying to switch lanes, going, everybody wants to be the first, and I'm just on the alternate route. It's more miles, but it's quicker in time because it's the road less traveled, so you can just go however fast you want, and that I get there before everybody, whatever. It's kind of like that. I'm talking about like three things at once here, so I forget what my main point was. But now, oh yeah, because in K through 12 it's like that, and then I mean, I fully agree. High school is hell, and then college is heaven. I mean, nowadays, maybe middle school, because I think demographics for things are getting younger, which is unfortunate. So now it's just like the whole, basically all of K through 12 school, you know. But college is more. I mean, it's just more relaxed. There's less judgment. It's more just kind of like, yeah, we're all grown ups. Like, like it's more welcoming. And not just in my experience. That's kind of seems to be the consensus. Just from everybody I know and have really heard from. Is that it's just a lot more lax, and it's just kind of like, it's just less judgmental. So I think people who graduate high school and then don't take college just because they don't like school, that's really the worst, because you go through the worst of it and you don't even get to the part where it's worth it, So if you graduate high school, at least go to college, to make up for it. Because I'm having a blast in college, really. It's a lot of fun. I'm not even one of the cool kids either, and I'm having fun. It's just because I'm weird, and that's the thing, is like, being weird in the K through 12 system, being weird in high school, it doesn't cut it. That's a bad thing. You don't want to be weird. You want to be cool. You want to have a high status. You don't get invited to parties then, and stuff like that. That being weird in college, I mean, it's like, in high school, it's like, oh, you weird. Get away from me. In college, it's like, oh man, you're weird. You gotta, I gotta introduce you to my friend over here. We gotta get you into the, whatever. And so it's like it's a valued quality. It's like, oh man, this guy's really, he's got some energy. He's got some stuff to say. It's like it's entertaining. They're amused by it. I think everybody kind of is at the core. It's just that the ego at that age, middle school, high school, is just like, and the society and peer pressure and stuff like that is just kind of like, oh, you're not allowed to interact with that or else your status goes down. It's like that episode of Black Mirror where, like, there's the points system, and it's like you gotta have at least a 4.5 stars to live in this community or whatever. And it's like, oh, you just interacted with a 2.5, now your score went down, to a 4, or what, like, it's it's that kind of thing, really, that it pretty much just already exists. It's just less flagrant, it's more subtle. But I just find it interesting how, I mean, nothing really changed with me as far as my personality, my energy, the stuff I say. Like, it's all kind of the same. I mean, I was gonna say with morality, but that's always evolving. So, but I think I've always believed that, love conquers all, and positive energy is, the ultimate force in the universe, and that you're here to just have a good time and do what you want to do, and don't fuel the demons, don't give in to the negative energy, don't let them win with you, don't let them bring you down. Whenever you feel sad, whenever you feel angry, whenever you feel afraid, whenever you feel guilty, whenever you feel a negative emotion, it's like a demon trying to take you down, trying to conquer you, so you just have to ignore them. You gotta work through it, not give them the time and the place. It's like, don't reinforce that cycle of negativity. I think I've always kind of believed that in some form or another. The way I would phrase it would probably be very different depending on the year, probably. But yeah, so I just find it kind of interesting how it's like the same thing, but it's a complete, like, 180. Instead of it being the worst thing for me, it's the best thing now, I mean, yeah, there still is, in college, there still is a lot of classism, a lot of status stuff, and, like, you are still gonna get rejected for being weird and stuff like that. I mean, that's just any discourse community really, but what I'm saying is there's far less of that, and it's kind of like 50-50 maybe, as opposed to like 95%, you know. So it's a lot better, and it's just kind of, like no matter who you are, you're probably gonna have friends in college, So, um, but yeah, so what was I? I'm getting kind of. Yeah, I have no idea what I was just saying actually. But hey, I mean this lava lamp's pretty cool. Hot. You sure there's no fire? No fire. Okay. Alright, 10 more minutes on here. See, I wish this was a live stream, because there'd be less awkward pauses then, y'all could comment live and fill the space. I mean, when I get a new laptop, I guess, is when I'll be able to live stream, unless I miraculously increase my subscribers tenfold in the next few weeks, because, if I have over 1,000 subscribers, I can live stream mobily. Otherwise, it'd have to be on a PC or a webcam or something, such as this. This is weird. 3:08 a.m. Lonely Joshua's up at this time. That's another thing too. Nighttime. It's kind of the opposite of a lot of people, I guess. But for me, nighttime I feel more connected with nature and with the space around me, and literal space, and that's why I like starry nights, especially clear skies, and direct communication, and it's like cold nights too. It's like it's cold in space, it's dark in space. I like it cold and dark, and it's I feel more at home, but at nighttime there's just a certain feel in the air to me. Not like the literal air, as in like, I mean, yeah, that too, but as far as, just the aesthetic of it. It's just like, there's this feeling that I don't have during the day. It's kind of like the sun is like a distraction. Like, that's just for this solar system. That's to keep us in line, And then nighttime is like the whole cosmos, all the 570 trillion miles or whatever, the 15 billion light years or, whatever. It's like all of that instead of just our solar system. We can see stars from way out, hundreds of light years away, As where during the day, you can't see any stars. It's just the sun. That's it. That's what's there, So I feel like nighttime is kind of more, these presences and things are more kind of free to, they have kind of, I don't know, I mean, that's probably why, most haunted things are at night, ghosts and Ouija boards and, all that whatnot. I'm not necessarily saying I buy into that specifically, but I mean, I do think that there's a physical realm and a spiritual realm, and I absolutely believe in extraterrestrial intelligent life. I believe that there's things on other planets and other solar systems, other galaxies perhaps, that, live simultaneously with us, and we're not aware of their existence, and they live simultaneously with us, and they're not aware of our existence, and they think of us the way we think of them. Oh, maybe there's a life out there. I don't know, you know. But yeah. So you know, uh, I've already dug myself pretty deep with this, you know. I've already lost a lot of subscribers, gained a lot of dislikes and angry comments. I know, I know. 'Cause once you state your opinion about something on the internet, you can never take it back. You know, so once I upload this video, my goose is cooked, pretty much. It's like, oh, you said, you know, whatever. Yeah, all right, whatever. If you care that much, I mean, you should focus on your own life. What I say shouldn't directly affect you. You know, I mean, I still am, you know, cautious though. I try to be respectful. I try not to say, you know, like use language that's going to offend some people, you know, or use like slurs or derogatory terms. I mean, not even on this channel, like just in life, I just don't do that, you know, or like, yeah, I don't like to insult people, you know. I don't really like diss people or roast people, or I that's not really my thing. As far as like a negative sense of humor, you know, like for putting other people down, or I mean, I understand if it's in the spirit of play, like, you know, like I said, I mean, I'll seek it out for me because that's fine. But as far as giving, I feel like just some people are naturally meant to do that, and it's okay if they do that because that's what they're meant to do. I feel like I'm meant to spread positivity in the world. I think there needs to be exactly 50% positive and 50% negative energy in order for each of them to survive, you know? And so I think I'm just more positive, or at least I'm supposed to be. And maybe it took, you know, me losing my phone and having, you know, being forced to be more, to spend more time with myself, you know, like alone, and you know, if I'm bored, you know, not just having something to pick up for instant entertainment, you know, like just actually just having to sit there and literally do nothing for hours. You know, it reminded me of being a little kid again. It's like I'm 5 years old in my room and I don't have access to the internet, you know, or TV, you know, anything like that, and I'm just sitting there drawing something, writing something, you know, I'm talking out loud to myself at full volume, or, you know, I still do that, by the way, fun fact, um, every day, actually, whether there's people home or not. I mean, in public, too, you know, hey, I'm just one of those people. But yeah, so, I'm sorry this was such a serious episode. I mean, I guess I saved most of the wacky, lighthearted stuff for the podcast, really, I guess. But, you know, yeah. I have really just mellowed out over the years. Now that I think about it, just going back in my life, you know, I'll admit I was a pretty high-strung person. You know, I was kind of short-tempered. You know, I was kind of you know, fast-paced and you know, a little hyper. You know, and it's like now I kind of am able to channel that in a positive way, and like I still have all this energy, but I put it toward positive things. You know, I don't put it toward anger. I put it toward excitement, or toward, you know, I put it into art. You know, to my music or something. You know, I'll just make a song. You know, you know, I'll just, you know, or like if it's any podcast, that's, you know, I'll just let it out there as something like, you know, so, you know, Vinegar Grill number 9526, tell me about it, you know, Reptilian King, we're gonna get to, like, you don't understand, I'm like that all the time, that's just how I am, that's my default setting, and that's the kind of stuff, and now that I think about it, that's the kind of stuff when I was a kid, like when I was like 10, 11, 12 years old, I used to say stuff like that, and it would freak everyone out, and the kids would like tell their parents about it, and they would be mad at me or something, show me what for. So it's like it's the same things, it's just a different audience, and now all of a sudden it's okay. Whatever. But and so now I finally have a place that I can do that and have it be okay, have it be encouraged, have it be like, if I say stuff like that on the live stream, it's gonna get a positive reception. It's gonna be like, haha, yeah, Joshua, you always got something crazy to say. Oh, whatever. As like nobody's gonna actually like take it really seriously and be like, I'm, like I feel threatened I feel uneasy around you or something like that. I don't think I've gotten that vibe from anybody recently, like that they feel uncomfortable around me. Because I used to just legitimately make people feel uncomfortable, But now, I don't know. I think I'm just more well-rounded in that I'm able to channel it and kind of, I might not be able to turn it off completely, but I can just, I can dilute it, depending on the audience. Like obviously if I'm at court, or if I'm, like a very business setting or something, I'm not gonna be, talking to the attorney about, vinegar eels or, the reptilian king or Wizbo Frovels. I'm not gonna, obviously, it, you know what I mean. But it's just the way I see it is like this. Most people are one of the two ends of the spectrum. They're either like really smart, a very high IQ, but they can kind of, be considered boring or bland by the average person or something like that, and it's just all intellectual stuff, and they kind of look down upon, the average folk, whatever, the peasants, and then there's the people that are just like really wacky and spontaneous and energetic, but the problem is that's all there is to it, and they're very two-dimensional, and they can't understand the first category. They can't understand the high IQ, intelligence. And by the way, I'm not saying here that there's a direct correlation between IQ and intelligence. That's already been debunked. I'm just giving an example, like the just the kind of characters. They're generic characters, I'll give you that, but you know what I mean. They're not able to understand that kind of stuff, and they're just like, that's just how they are all the time, and yeah. And then every once in a while there's the rare person, and then there's some people that are, I think most people are kind of in the middle of the spectrum and just kind of aren't really able to do either. And that's even worse, because I think you should specialize in one. You gotta pick one or the other if you can't do both. Either be smart or be entertaining. Pick one or the other. Don't be neither. If you're neither smart nor entertaining, what do you bring to the table? With mashed potatoes, you bring a I don't know. Anyway, but every once in a while there's that rare person who is able to master both, to double dip, dabble in both things. They're able to be serious and then intellectual when they need to. They're able to be, but they're also able to like let loose and just be like, wacky, spontaneous, zany, whatever. And then they can also just be in the middle, whatever. I mean, I was on the other end. No, man, I don't know what I was. I was just a really odd exception. I'm really curious to know like what a documentary about my life would be like. It probably would just focus on from now on. It probably wouldn't touch on like my childhood or anything. It'd probably just be about my career and stuff, the future from now. But honestly, I have no idea how to describe my life up till now. You know, I don't know where to begin. Um, but yeah, my goal is to be able to get the full spectrum. You know. And right now, I feel very in tune with my environment. I'm on the same. Well, if I was literally on the same, I'd probably be dead. But you know, I'm on the right spectrum of frequency waves as the things around. Now, if you'll excuse me, I have to go to space. And you know what? You'll never know how much of what I say is serious and how much is just trolling you. I'm never gonna tell you. So figure it out. Haha. Really goddamn good. Oh crap, it's still recording. This episode needs a proper ending. Well, there's your ending. Alright.